So I review a lot of phones on this channel, and yet the phone that I keep coming back to is this, the iPhone 13 mini in 2025. A phone that Apple doesn't even sell anymore, a phone that some people call a failure. But what if I told you this might secretly be the best iPhone that you can buy right now? Let's start with the basics. The iPhone 13 mini was released in late 2021 and discontinued shortly thereafter. As of today, in 2025, Apple has no current iPhone that's under 6 inches. Now think about that. No small phone options from the world's biggest smartphone manufacturer. Is it just that it's not that popular, or are they trying to sell you bigger and bigger phones? This phone is just over 5 inches tall, weighing under 5 ounces with a 5.4-inch Super Retina XDR display. Now compare that to the iPhone 16 Pro that I've been using, which is 6.3 inches and weighs over 7 ounces. On paper, that might still sound like a small difference, but in the hand, it's night and day. I mean, when did phones stop being phones and start becoming tablets? When did we decide that bigger screens are always better, even if they compromise usability? Have we reached a point where portability is no longer a priority? So what's so special about the iPhone 13 mini? Why do I keep talking about it? Honestly, I didn't even expect to like it. I bought it secondhand off Facebook Marketplace on a whim, expecting to tear it apart in a bad review. But within hours, I was hooked. The size, the weight, the feel. It's hard to explain until you actually use it, but it feels like a relief. Do you remember when phones disappeared into your pocket? Or when one-handed use wasn't a nostalgic feature, but just how phones worked? Well, this phone actually brings that back. It reminds me a lot of the iPhone 5, my personal favorite iPhone of all time, but the 13 mini brings that same compactness, almost, into a modern full-screen design. It's funny, isn't it? Like, we've spent over a decade pushing for more screen real estate, yet somehow this little phone manages to do more with less. So then the real question becomes, if small phones are so good, why did they vanish? So there's this narrative that small phones don't sell, that people say they want a compact phone, but then never actually end up buying it. And that may be true to some extent, but I think it oversimplifies the reality here. So the iPhone 13 mini didn't fail because people didn't want it. It failed because Apple didn't market it. It wasn't front and center in the stores. It didn't get the same camera attention or battery praise as the Pro models. It was sort of treated like this afterthought, and yet it still developed a cult-like following. Just check out my subscribers who came from these types of videos. So we have to ask ourselves, do people really not want small phones, or are companies just not building them with the same care and integrity and premium quality? I mean, could Apple not have made a 13 mini Pro? Better cameras, better battery life. Sure they could have. When the only small phones on the market are low-end budget models, it skews the data. The iPhone 13 mini was a rare exception, a truly high-end phone in a small package, and people like me noticed. So let's talk about what it's like to use the 13 mini in 2025. Surprisingly, it still holds up really well. We're talking about an A15 Bionic chip, 5G, Face ID, MagSafe, all of the essentials you've come to know and love in an iPhone from a couple years back. Yes, the cameras didn't compete with the latest 16 Pro Max or the Pixel series, but for everyday shooting, it's still excellent. Just check out some of the samples that I have here. You know, not great in low light, obviously, but good enough for your day-to-day use that you're not really going to notice unless you are downgrading from a Pro or a Pro Max like I do often. Then of course, I mean, you're going to see a difference. But then battery life, it's decent, you know, not incredible, but manageable. Again, if you're coming from a Pro Max with full 2-day battery life, you will of course notice the drop. It's nowhere close to that. But if you're like me, somebody who's not glued to their phone 24/7, the Mini does everything just fine. And then remember, it has MagSafe. And that for me is a game changer. I pair mine with a small MagSafe battery pack and it charges on the go without even needing to plug it in. Battery life no longer an issue. I keep a charging stand on my desk and I can still use that with this phone. One thing I miss if I jump to older models. And it's just one of those features that is new enough, it makes this phone still feel modern even though it is from years ago. I mean, just look at the iPhone 16e that didn't have MagSafe and it was just so frustrating for everyone who was reviewing it. So yeah, the general battery life might be a problem, but is that really a deal breaker in exchange for a phone that fits in any pocket, is light as a feather, and actually lets you use it one-handed? Let's focus on one-handed use for a sec, because this is a feature no one talks about anymore. With the Mini, I can still scroll, swipe, text, and navigate, all with one hand, all without issue. No finger gymnastics, no awkward pinky support, no swiping the screen to bring it down. This isn't just about comfort, it's about accessibility. For people with smaller hands, for people on the go, for anyone who actually wants to use their phone while doing literally anything else, the iPhone 13 mini is freedom. Again, isn't it strange that we've normalized needing two hands for what used to be called a mobile device? We used to laugh at giant phones. We would call them phablets. Now they're the standard. And have we gone too far? So here's what I love most about the 13 mini. It doesn't feel like a compromise. That's what makes it different from the iPhone SE or the 16e that I was recently reviewing. The SE, even the third generation, feels like a throwback. Thick bezels, home button, older design language. The 13 mini, full screen, Face ID, OLED, ceramic shield. It's modern. It gives you all the power of a flagship in a body that disappears into your lifestyle. And in a world where phones keep getting thinner but not smaller, I think we're missing the point. Why do we want a thin phone that's still enormous? Why are we still prioritizing thickness over footprint? This year's trend of ultra-thin phones, like the Samsung S25 Edge that you're going to see on the channel, or the rumored iPhone Air that's coming, it's exciting from a tech perspective, sure, but they're still giant slabs. Thinner, sure, but not more usable. And wouldn't it be more revolutionary to shrink down the phone footprint while still keeping all the flagship features? And is that hopefully where we're headed? So let's address the elephant in the room. Is this just nostalgia? Maybe. I loved the iPhone 5. Maybe part of me just missed that small form factor. But here's the thing. After using the 13 mini for several weeks, going back to any other phone felt worse. Clunkier, heavier, just less fun and harder to use. That's not just nostalgia, that's user experience. Why should we have to settle for something enormous just to get the best features? The Mini proves that we don't. So ask yourself, when you upgrade your phone, are you choosing based on what's best for you or what the market tells you is best for you? Now, no phone is perfect, and I'd be lying if I said that it was. The Mini, of course, has its downsides. Battery life is the obvious one. If you game a lot, stream tons of video, go live on TikTok, this is not your phone. It never will be. You'll need a MagSafe battery pack or to top up midday. There's no hiding that. It also won't win in any camera versatility. There's no telephoto lens. You don't get the same latest computational AI photography tricks from the 16 series. And yes, buying one in 2025 is harder. Apple no longer sells it. You'll need to go refurbished or used. And when you buy it, you might need to replace the battery after a year or two. All fair concerns. But here's the trade-off. You get a phone that actually feels like a phone again. Are those limitations really deal breakers when the upsides are this significant? This is the part that breaks my heart. Apple has made no indication that they're bringing back the mini form factor. No iPhone 17 mini, no successor, not even a compact version of the iPhone Air. It's still slated to have a pretty big screen. Other brands are following suit with that too. We're seeing foldables, thinner wearables, everything except the return to truly small smartphones. But maybe, just maybe, someday that could change, as we're seeing technology improve, battery density increases, components miniaturize. We could bring back smaller phones without compromise. Again, maybe that iPhone 13 mini Pro is the way to go. So is there a chance that companies will stop chasing big as the only metric of progress and start thinking smart again? Could we see a renaissance of compact flagships? And let's be real, would you buy it if it existed? So is the iPhone 13 mini worth it in 2025? I know this wasn't your typical review, but if you care about portability, comfort, usability, absolutely. It's still one of the best designed iPhones Apple ever made, and in a sea of phones trying to be everything for everyone, the 13 mini knows exactly what it is. A powerful, pocketable, no compromise device. You won't find anything like it new today, and that to me makes it even more valuable. I really hope the trend comes back. I hope the success of the 13 mini, even in its cult status, sends a message that small can be smart, that compact doesn't have to mean compromise, that the perfect phone might just be the one that fits in your hand and your life effortlessly. But what do you think? Would you still buy an iPhone 13 mini in 2025? Should Apple bring back the mini? Or are we just stuck in a world of slab-sized screens forever? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this review, consider subscribing. I've got more retro modern tech reviews coming up later. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes less really is more.